Welcome to Mission Sunlight from the Euro-Asia Division. The Mission Sunlight team experienced two very unique events while traveling in this division. First, we traveled in Baku, Azerbaijan. Upon arrival, we were denied our entrance visas. The government stated that recent new policies required us to purchase visas in advance. The policies were so new that even their embassy in Washington, D.C. did not know. We spent 34 hours stranded in their airport, waiting on our visas to become effective for the next country on our itinerary, Russia. 2 months later, we were able to enter the country and complete our visit to Azerbaijan. The second event was after arriving a day early in Russia. That gave us an opportunity to visit the area around the Kremlin in central Moscow. To our surprise, we found we could obtain tickets and enter the Kremlin walls. Although we could not take our high-definition broadcast cameras inside, we are sharing some of the still photographs we were able to capture, along with some of the video in today's introduction. Here on the campus of Zaoksky Adventist University, students are training for a lifetime of service. Just down the road at the publishing house, there's an exciting project that you can help with to train even younger minds. From the beginning of time, God has chosen to work through human channels to tell others about His great love of the inhabitants of planet Earth. Men and women of vision have helped to take the story of Jesus to small villages, the teeming cities of the world, and to countries where personal freedoms have been restricted. The university and theological seminary have become a haven for students who want to prepare for their own forms of ministry. The university, Source of Life Publishing House, and Voice of Hope Radio Ministry each play a unique evangelism role.
I would like to thank the God that before we have very good leaders like Michael Kulakov, because he has a dream, he have a good idea, and he support this ministry. And he pray about Russia, about Soviet Union, that we have here in Russia good organization like printing house, seminary, and Voice of Hope.
Ideas, followed by prayer and action, led to the establishment of the publishing ministry in Russia as the restrictions of communism began to ease.
I think 1987, that Otis came here, coordinate this evangelistic program here in Russia, and he decided to build here the publishing house. And he started to collect money, I think, and he buy the equipment here and bring to here in this publishing house starting in April 1992.
Today, almost 20 years later, the publishing house is providing spiritual materials for many of the countries throughout the Euro-Asia division.
And I praise the Lord that now we have this publishing house here in Russia, and we can print and distribute the books like Leaf of Autumn, yeah? And here in our ESD territory.
Materials are produced in Russian and other languages as well.
Usually we print 40 titles of new books per year. It's approximately 2 million copies total. And we usually translate from English to Russian, sometimes from Germany, from Spain and other language. And usually we print 3, 5, sometimes 6, 7 and other language.
In the 1980s, Zaoksky Adventist University received 13th Sabbath Mission offering funds for the construction of this gymnasium on the campus. Today, that building stands as a testimony to the sacrificial giving of the worldwide church family. In first quarter 2008, your 13th Sabbath offering helped to fund the building project of the Irkutsk Seventh-day Adventist Church. At that time, Pastor Roman served as the shepherd of the congregation. Pastor Roman is now principal at Zaoksky Academy. He reports that the Irkutsk church is thriving through evangelism and growing in their new location and worships weekly with more than 100 new members. Your legacy of giving to the 13th Sabbath Mission offering can make a difference. It will continue with the projects this quarter, reaching the hearts and minds of children in the Euro-Asia division with age-appropriate materials will soon become a reality with one of the designated projects.
We have this difficulty of spiritual hunger among young people because they aren't really attracted to church to study the Bible and learn about God. They are more attracted to everything that is related to modern technology and all the gadgets they can acquire and use. Of course, they're really attracted by the entertainment industry. We have a big need of materials and books.
The material distractions of the world are just one of the challenges facing our brothers and sisters in this division as they minister to the youth.
We have some difficulty to bring these books to our region because of the situations in the customs office at the border. We also have difficulty translating that material into local languages and adapting that language to local needs and local mentality for our children and youth.
When we prepare this evangelistic program, especially for kids, and because when we teach the kids and how to love the Jesus, when they growing, they always keep in the right way.
The Source of Life Publishing House at Zaoksky has been tasked with age-appropriate translations of children's materials that will reach the kids in Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. One of the greatest desires of Adventist parents in this region is to have materials that are attractive and engaging to lead their children to Jesus.
As a mother and grandmother, I understand how important it is to have materials to teach our children about Jesus, with materials that are prepared on the level of children.
I look for any opportunity to share and acquire materials and books for kids.
As parents, it is our most important mission to introduce our children to Christ. The time will come when we are all in front of our Lord. He will ask us, "Where are your children? What have you done for them to know me?" That is why it is important for them to have a chance to learn about Christ.
Parents in countries like Russia and Azerbaijan don't have the luxury of being able to visit their local Adventist book center or even the local bookstore to buy Christian materials for their children.
I am mother of 2 kids, and I'm really passionate about children department because we are doing a lot of things, but unfortunately very often we don't have enough materials as we are not able to order from the publishing house in Russia. And I'd like to say something that if you go to the bookstores in Baku, you will find a lot of materials for children, for their development starting from early age up to teenage time. Unfortunately, we don't have enough in local language. This is our first problem, even the regular books. Moreover, we don't have almost nothing for Christian kids.
How often have you taken the Sabbath School Quarterly for granted? How different would your Sabbath school be without it? This is what many of our church family face on a weekly basis.
I have been to other churches around the world and I have seen that children have a chance, parents have a chance to have quarterlies for kids. This is something that we lack, we don't have. And I guess this creates a problem in conducting Sabbath school because you give a story, but nobody discusses this with kids at home because parents have no idea what's going on in the classroom.
Do you hear the need and the desire? Imagine your children and grandchildren not having access to the Sabbath School Quarterly and other spiritual materials.
We pray about this, that our kids and parents will have more access and more materials that they can share with their kids and their friends, and kids can learn more about Christ.
It's very important to nurture the youth. We have to really invest into our children and young people. Until then, we will only see elderly people in the church.
When we prepare nice materials like Sabbath school, and we can involve not only the kids from church, but outside from church, and we can invite them to visit our church and to say them how Jesus loved them.
Undertaking the task of translating and printing publications for children and youth requires talent and equipment. With this investment, more families will hear the story of Jesus.
Our equipment very old, and we would like to upgrade some, and we don't have now enough money, and we ask that the division can put the project list of 13 Sabbath, and maybe the church members can help us to collect money, and we can buy this new 4-color machine, print machine. Thank you very much for 13 Sabbath offering who help to print the materials for kids.
On Sabbath, June 25th, you will have a choice. How much will you invest in the lives of the children and youth of the Euro-Asia Division? Is it important to you that they learn about Jesus? You can be a part of the mission to tell it to the world. Reporting from the Source of Life Publishing House in Zaoksky, Russia, we leave you with more of the sights and sounds of the children from this division. This is Mission Sunlight.
Будь со мной всегда в моей судьбе, все мои источники